calls, no messages. Nothing but junk mail and overdue bills to keep me company. Seems nobody wants to hire a real private dick anymore, a professional like me. A guy who does the detective work nobody else wants to do. A guy who wears hats and walks around in a black and white world. I began contemplating a more profitable line of work, like politics.
We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
All right, folks. All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show here at AM 830 WCRN. And of course, you can join the conversation for the next hour at 508-871-7000. 508-871-7000. That will get you into the studio for two-way talk and conversation. Hey, don't forget, we have our text line up and running. That's right. You can text the show like you do anyone else. Just simply text to 617-297-8388, 617-297-8388. It appears on the screen here in the studio in real time. I am broadcasting from the Cameo studio, so the Cameo Cam is on. That means that the station, although it does stream 24/7 to the TuneIn app, which means you can take us anywhere, a fantastic feature. I love that. You can tell Alexa to play WCRN. She'll do that, no questions asked. But you can go to the station Facebook page, YouTube channel, or my social media, which would be X, Facebook, Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, and we do stream live to Rumble on the Joe Mangiacotti Show channel there. And don't forget, it's always posted at my blog site or website, which is joemangishow.com. And you can see that as well as the weekly report in other posts that I do if you follow me there. But welcome to the viewers who are already jumped on, and please feel free to do that. A lot of people have started doing it on the Twitch, which I find interesting. And don't forget, the show is turned into a podcast when I get off the air, so you can subscribe and be notified and download the show like you do any other podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spotify. Today, behind the glass, flying the board back at HQ. So he'll get you set up and into the studio for two-way talk and conversation. Later this hour, I'm going to be joined by a couple of people from a company called Heart to Home Meals. Now, they're for the region, for the country. They're based out of Marlborough, Massachusetts, and they're coming on board as sponsors here on AM 830 WCRN. But they're going to join me a little later in the show and talk about their service, which I find is like just it's a great service, because this isn't a Meals on Wheels or anything. This is an organization that has the commercial kitchens, and they cook meals and freeze them, and they deliver them, put them right in your freezer. They're great. Some of it is on, well, we'll get into the details with that and exactly what the company is. So second half of the show today, we'll be joined by Gary and Thakur. So they'll jump into the studio a little later on. I did have a couple things, guys, I wanted to touch on today. And I know on the tease and the post that I put out on Facebook and X, and I do that about an hour or so before I come on the air, so you have the stories, you know what we're going to talk about if you want to do that, and some people do that and do follow around, or along rather. One that I didn't tease, and I have to talk about this. It's going to affect a lot of people here in Massachusetts because it affects everybody in the country, and this is the USDA versus the blue states on the SNAP data. So if you haven't caught this, and what's interesting, right? Because during this possible shutdown, or not possible, to the possible extension of the already record-breaking shutdown that we had, government shutdown, one of the things that came out, right? The left had a grasp on something, why this is terrible. And even though they attempted to put it on Republicans and Trump, I think for the majority of us, we knew it was, 14 times the Democrats elected not to open the government, elected not to do a very clean continuing resolution. So it really wasn't on the Republicans at all. But one of the things that came out, and we talked about on the show, the 42 million people who receive SNAP, i.e. food stamps, every month. The billions of dollars that we, the taxpayers, load up to these cards every single month. And of course, we saw the the posting, people posting and checking their balance with thousands of dollars on it, and then lecturing us that we have to pay for their food and their children, and it's our responsibility to take care of them. And mind you, the people making most of these videos seem perfectly healthy, articulate, and able to work, but that's another call, another discussion, another show. So in the wake of all this, our agriculture secretary, Brooke Rollins, we've seen Brooke on a lot of shows, right, announced that the Trump administration will begin withholding federal administrative funding for SNAP. So let's go back to this, right? The federal money, meaning the collective tax revenue from us, is what funds so many things. And we really got to look behind the curtain when Doge went in there and they tried to tell us about the massive amount of fraud taking place. Millions and collectively billions of dollars going to ridiculous programs. And guess what? A lot of these programs don't even know where the money is. So we had just millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and now billions of dollars evaporate. And we really don't know where it is. But this bitching about the food stamps not being funded and 42 million people on it, and the people who then bragged about it kind of said, who's receiving? Why did under Biden, first of all, under Barack Obama, SSI skyrocketed, food stamps skyrocketed. Under the Biden administrations, millions of more people ended up on food stamps. And they said, well, who's getting it? Why are they getting it? Then we talked about, well, if you're healthy and you can't work, but you're trying, and how about you volunteer, you do 20 hours or something a week to justify the $1,200 or $1,500 a month taxpayers are giving you. So now Brooke Rollins is saying, what we're going to do is we're going to hold the federal money to fund these food stamps in those places, and they all happen to be Democratic-led states, because all the red states are Republican-led states. When they requested data, no problem, we'll send it over. Yeah, if you can help clean that up, that's great. But the Democratic-led states that refuse to turn over detailed recipient data, now, before I get the text or you start privacy and this and that, once you take money from any entity, there is a contract being made here. There's an understanding. And you have to, name a contract where money is exchanged where the parties don't know who the hell the other party is. So they want detailed recipient data. Who is this going to? I won't repeat the story, but I've made reference to it many times on this show. About several years ago, here in Massachusetts, the Democrats said, because they controlled the corner office and the state legislature, as they have for many years, they said, hey, we send all of this money out to all these recipients for SNAP and food stamps. Why don't we make sure they're all registered? Because obviously they're going to vote Democrat, because if they're on food stamps, they're probably in other things, and they're not going to upset that apple cart, right? So they mailed out thousands upon thousands of letters with forms and instructions. Make sure if you're not registered, let's register you. And the interesting that happened, as I've told you this story before, is it was about 17,000 of these mailings were returned from the post office with undeliverable, meaning that the people don't live there, never lived there, or the property, the address that is listed isn't a residential property. It's some kind of industrial, commercial property, or even a vacant lot. That's what happened. So if you have in the ballpark of 17,000 people who don't live where they are listed on their forms, doesn't that mean that they're probably BS, and what you're getting is just scammed on this? So this data would include names, immigration status, which is absolutely a logical thing to ask, and it needs to be sent to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And at a cabinet meeting, In a no data, no money social media post, Rollins said 29 mostly Republican-led states have complied with the data request. But 21 states, including California, New York, Minnesota, Massachusetts, have refused, citing privacy laws and concerns that the information could be misused. How exactly do you misuse the data? Data is data. And what they're saying by when they say might be misused, what they're saying is you might not want this person who's illegally here and really doesn't have entitlement to this particular benefit, which is always an oxymoron, might be removed, and they don't want that to happen. So this privacy, it just doesn't go. So citing privacy laws and concerns that the information could be misused. Those states have sued USDA. A federal judge has already issued an injunction questioning the agency's authority and warning the move could harm beneficiaries. Questioning their authority. How do you question the authority of the agency that administers the program and funds the program? Is it magical authority that we don't know about? The USDA is the authority here because they fund the program. Rollins argues that the data is needed to root out massive fraud. That is a good enough reason across the board. Eliminate fraud. If you stop that, aren't you interfering with a legitimate investigation? So they needed to root out the fraud and to ensure SNAP, which serves, again, 42 million people at a cost of over $100 billion annually, benefits only those who are eligible. While critics accuse the administration of weaponizing hunger and using the federal dollars to coerce political opponents and potentially target illegal immigrants. The words, look, you're not targeting them. You're doing an investigation. If you're stealing money that you're not entitled to, then that is a crime. Why is this difficult? Hey, we have to take our first break here on the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show at AM 830 WCRN, which we'll do that. When we come back, we'll go straight to the phones. I know Mark's waiting patiently. We'll go right to the phones on the other side. Hold on for 2 minutes and 2 seconds, folks. Thanks for joining me for the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show at AM 830 WCRN.
Are you looking for a holistic approach to your health? One that supports your body's natural ability to regulate, adapt, regenerate, and heal? Look no further. The Bioregulatory Medicine Institute, BRMI, a nonprofit global organization dedicated to advancing the science and art of bioregulatory medicine, welcomes you to their free and rich library of resources. You'll find articles, podcasts, videos, and more at brmi.online. BRMI believes health freedom is a basic human right, honoring medical ethics and the innate intelligence of the human body. When your body is properly supported, it will thrive. If you're looking for the root cause of illness, physical, emotional, or spiritual, visit brmi.online. brmi.online.
Step into the magic of winter in Wooville, where Polar Park transforms into a sparkling holiday wonderland. Stroll through twinkling lights, meet Santa in his workshop, decorate cookies, and explore our Christmas tree village, each tree supporting local nonprofits. Bring the whole family for festive treats, music, and the spirit of the season in the heart of Worcester. Tickets on sale now at polarpark.com/Wooville. Don't miss the magic. Winter in Wooville happening this December at Polar Park.
Hi, I'm Lee Gaudette of the Gaudette Insurance Agency, a third-generation family business based in Whitensville with branch office locations in Grafton, Shrewsbury, Westboro, and Southborough. We are a full-service independent agency offering all aspects of insurance to businesses, families, and individuals. We are in the peace of mind business. Call, click, or come in to see us at any of our locations for a free assessment of your insurance needs. Also, listen to Radio Central WCRN every Friday morning at 9:30 for the Gaudette Insurance Show.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the second segment, Wednesday edition, Joe Mangiacotti Show, AM 830, WCRN. Don't forget, I do stream the show today from the Cameo studios. So the Cameo camera is on. You could go to X, Facebook, Rumble, Twitch TV. They're all there. Rumble, yeah, Rumble. And we can go to the station YouTube channel. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Text line 617-297-8388. Let me jump to the phones. Mark's waiting patiently. Hey, Mark, what say you?
You remember Muammar Gaddafi, right?
I do.
And he was the, whether you like him, hate him, dictator, non-dictator, whatever he was the head of state, right, of Libya, was it?
He was.
But he isn't anymore. And the reason why he wasn't anymore, he isn't there anymore, is because somebody lit him up, smoked him. Who smoked him?
Hillary.
Smoked him. We say, we came, we saw, he ain't here anymore. That one you mean?
That's the one I mean.
Okay, now that would have got that squared away. Will we formally declared war against Libya?
We haven't formally declared war since World War II.
Okay, so you answered that question. We weren't at war with Libya, all right? But we took their head of state and we evaporated him, all right? And whoever might have been around them, well, they were non-combatant accessories to the fact. And where was the hue and cry when that happened?
I don't know. I was still looking for it, Mark.
Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Is they?
Yep.
Nowhere. But now, when you really think about it, all right, and you look at this analytically, you have the same condition going on here where they say fishermen are being slaughtered indiscriminately when we haven't declared war and they're non-combatants. I hate to tell you people, we're in a drug war right now, okay? And we're in drug war with every cartel south of the Mexican border because they can't get their product across the southern border anymore. So they're desperate and they're trying to run it from Venezuela to wherever their ports of call are in the Caribbean. It's redistributed there to the East Coast and the mainland of United States of America. And they don't like that, okay? So, that's where we stand. And you talk about hypocrisy. I mean, how more hypocritical can you be?
Oh, I 100% agree with you, Mark, on this. Look, we've been in this drug war since the 1980s. And the only difference is Trump is the first president, only president, who just didn't surrender, who just didn't say whatever. He actually has done something about it. And look at in the cabinet meeting the other day with Rubio, I know it was an offhanded remark, but it meant a lot. It really was when he said, it's hard to even find narco boats in the ocean anymore. Of course it is. Who's going to take a high-speed boat with? And I think we talked about it yesterday. You brought up. It's not like they're hiding this stuff, Mark. And thank you for the call, by the way. I appreciate it tremendously. It's not like they are hiding. I said back in the 80s, 90s, these drug lords, at least, or the cartels, they used to at least make an attempt to hide it, right? They'd get a luxury yacht and they would conceal it. Now they just get these boats made for speed. They bundle it up in plain sight, waterproofed and shrink wrapped, and they know nothing's going to happen. Well, they did until a few months ago. And now they won't do it. You're a soldier, and the boss says, you, and you, let's take this in, get it into Miami, get it into the Gulf, whatever. I don't think so. So that's happening. I talked about this a lot yesterday. There was no war crime here. That has disintegrated. These organizations like Washington Post, really, they have become a joke, have they not? 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Let's go to Ken. Ken's waiting patiently. Hey, Ken, what say you?
Hello, Joe. Well, yesterday's news may be forgotten tomorrow, so I got to bring this up real fast. Yesterday's election in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up this wonderful, almost 10 points. It was, I think, 9 points, right? There was a point at the 50% yesterday, Ken. They were tied with, I think when I saw it, 48% of the voted. I'm like, are you kidding me? But yeah, your take on it?
Well, we've got to learn a lot. Here's the
Yes.
bottom line.
Yeah.
People, Republicans, you've got to paint the picture of your opponent fast. You didn't quite, well, I should say they barely got the picture on her fast enough to produce the loss. They started the campaign of pointing out how extreme she was just 2 weeks ago. That might have been too late. You got lucky, folks. You can't let this happen again. The future is way too important.
Yeah.
I mean, she
Hey,
hates
Ken?
that she was
Ken?
going to win.
Yeah, Ken, pause just 1 second because, of course, there are thousands of people listening, and I got to make sure they know our reference. You know what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about. But to the listeners who, wait a minute, what are you guys talking about? Republican Matt Van Epps, who was a former Tennessee commissioner and an Army helicopter pilot, by the way. He was endorsed by Trump. He won in the special election for Tennessee's 7th congressional district yesterday, defeating Democrat state rep Afton Bond. Now, she is the one, by roughly 9 points, by the way, historically Republican seat. Trump carried that with more than 20 points in the 24 election. But here's the thing. She, unbelievable, right? And we're talking about posts, folks, that surfaced. And we're not talking 20 years ago. We're talking a couple, 3 years ago, where she talked how much she hates Tennessee, and she hates everything, the country music, everything that makes Tennessee. She hates it. And that's what Ken's talking about. They just started to let this stuff out weeks before the election. But I just make sure everybody knows we're on the same page. So continue, Ken.
Joe, it's not just Tennessee. She hated the people who she was going to represent.
She did. She did. The pedal bars and the bachelorette parties and everybody that comes to Tennessee, why they come to Tennessee. Yeah, it was really something.
And who did the people in Nashville vote for? They voted for her. I think by like a more than a 10-point margin, because they didn't know what was going on. The media won't tell them the truth. And we barely got the message out before the election to probably tip. I mean, if the Republicans had done nothing, it hadn't even spent $1 million. It turns out they spent $3 million. They had spent less than $1 million, that would have been lost. It's a very red district. This is how important it is, folks. We have to do the job correctly. Yeah. And you have Massachusetts is a classic example of how you lose, because the party is run by consultants who want to lose, which is why, in all likelihood, the remainder of my life, there's not going to be a single Republican candidate, whether it be House or Senate, gets even within 10 points until the whole structure of the state party gets dismantled. And on the national level, they have to be on top of it, because you're running against the media day in, day out. You have to spend like the media spends, and you have to be passionate about the people you support. Or you're going to lose, and we're going to lose the nation bit by bit, because we are splitting up into blue little urban areas. New York City's lost, Seattle's lost, Portland's lost.
Hey, Ken, I want to make a point, because you talked about, you have to get the word out earlier, make sure everybody understands what's going on. A perfect example of this is this $1 billion scam fraud situation in Minnesota with a Walls, ignoring it, harassing the whistleblowers. We know the deal. Money making its way back to Somali. They're spending it on mansions and cars and vacations and all of that. Well, what was the major, the mainstream networks, right? ABC, CBS, NBC. How much time did they spend covering it? 0 minutes. 0 minutes. You saw this story on Fox and Newsweek, America Online, News, all of that. But the major legacy, as they say, networks didn't cover the story, didn't talk about one of the biggest frauds perpetrating any state in the federal government. They just ignored it. So the people who don't check out News Nation or Newsmax or Fox once in a while may not even know the total incompetence and fraud, corruption, and criminal activity in Minnesota over this that has been going on, where they've been scamming the meals program, the autistic, non-existing children. So to your point, when are we going to start saying news networks that are governed by the FCC, which they do not, these companies don't own the license, they only have them on temporary basis. It's a license issued to them to run it. If they're not actually doing the job for the common good of the people, should they be able to maintain that license?
That's not going to change, Joe.
I know, but we got to talk about it. The only way it does change is to ask the questions.
The people have to start talking. You know, you have neighbors who just don't want to talk. You've got to let them know. Time's running out. I think we're going to win. But if we don't have maximum effort, we lose.
I agree. There's no friction on that. And we've seen Donald Trump, actually fight back, stand up, push back when stupid questions are asked. And he points out the inequity in coverage of news, and the entire concept of fake news came from the guy 10 years ago. And now that we understand that as to be part of our vernacular, and we understand now, I don't care if you're 22 and you think of fake news, and it is. Now, you might think everything on CNN is accurate and everything on Fox is fake news, or vice versa. But it's part of our lexicon now, and that's why these outlets, the traditional legacy outlets, they just don't have any credibility. Nobody believes them anymore, Fake news. That's it. Ken, final thought. We're coming against the clock.
We're talking about U.S. Providence. Have to put it flat in people's face, because if they don't get it, the kids and grandkids' future's done.
Agreed. 100%. Thank you for the call, Ken. Always appreciated. Always good stuff. All right, folks, we're going to come up here. We're going to take our mid-show break here on the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. That's 508-871-7000. Lines are open and available. Hey, the text line, it's a screen right here in the studio. So when you text 617-297-8388, it appears on the screen in real time, and we try to work it into the conversation for those that can't pick up the phone and give a call. We understand that. Before I go to the break, I just want to make a quick announcement. Making money last, right? With Jerry Doherty has been, we moved him a few months ago to 6 o'clock. He'll be returning to his 11 o'clock time slot come a week from Monday on the 15th. Jerry Doherty, Making Money Last, back at 11 a.m. Stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds, folks.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
What's up, Joe?
A meteorologist sure is.
All right, let's check in our break here. We're still streaming, not on the radio right now. Oh, you got it up. Go into your video and hit your mirror button so that the words behind you are in the right way.
Any snow that you had yesterday, little if any melting is expecting. Tomorrow, mostly dry weather, but we could see a couple of
if you go to your little settings wheel and you hit the video, down the bottom, you'll see a little button that says mirror camera.
Upcoming week. A meteorologist, Sherry Spear, new
you're good.
25 live for the morning drive weekdays.
You're in the right direction now.
WCRN. Okay.
All right.
And what do you got for mic level? Can you hear me okay?
I am. What mic are you using?
This mic right here.
All right, lavalier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. I'm going to just adjust you in my end just a little bit.
All right.
And you're good to go. All right. Ready? Movers. They don't just move, they remove. Their junk removal and clean out services are the fastest, easiest way to reclaim your space without lifting a finger. Whether it's yard waste, old furniture, garage cleanouts, or even hoarder cleanup, they've got the muscle and the mission to get it done safely and affordably. Selling your home or just tired of the clutter? They do offer full property cleanouts, demolition, and furniture delivery too. One call clears it all. Proudly serving Marlborough, Boston, Worcester, Framingham, and beyond. They're Central Mass's cleanup crew with a can-do attitude. Call 978-793-6165 or visit mightymoversma.com. mightymoversma.com. Mighty Movers, they bring the might so you don't have to lift a thing. All right, folks, welcome back to the second half of the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show here on AM 830, WCRN, Radio Central. Don't forget, you could join the conversation at 508-871-7000. 508-871-7000. Ted A back at HQ. He'll get you set up and into the studio for two-way talk and conversation. And, of course, you can text us anytime at 617-297-8388. And as promised, I'm bringing into the conversation, and let's invite into the conversation, Gary Rosenberg, who is from Heart to Home Meals. We got that right. I like to add a plural there sometimes, Gary. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I appreciate you having us with you today.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, the best thing is you're right down the street in Marlboro.
Yep.
All right. So let's because we don't have a lot of time, and I do want to cover some good stuff here. And Heart to Home Meals USA, and I'm only saying USA because it's actually a Canadian-based company, but it was a European-based company. And when you decided to expand to the lower 48 here, yeah, I guess that's the way to put it, you ended up in Marlboro, Massachusetts.
We did.
So tell the listeners just a little bit of the history, the purpose, and the motivation behind Heart to Home.
Sure. I mean, it's, we're a company that helps people. That's what we are. And our market is senior citizens, that 55, 65 plus area where
people, I fall into that category, Gary.
No,
so
because we do have some people that like we do have some people that might even be younger that like to, that like the food and that want to be able to we do business with everybody. But generally speaking, most of our business is with senior citizens and vulnerable senior citizens that may have a difficult time being on their own and providing food for themselves. And, at the end of the day, it's marvelous to help people.
Right.
It's a good feeling and it's a good mission to have. And basically, in many cases, we're helping people to be able to stay independent in their homes and not have to get into institutional care where they, a lot of times the only thing holding somebody back is they can't cook. And we can step right in there. We help them with good food, wholesome food, healthy food. But beyond that, also, a friend, people that they can see every week. Sometimes we're the only people see every week. And we really, really strive to be a partner, a friend, and not just a provider of a meal. It goes so much further than that.
There's something it came into my mind while you were talking, and it's a conversation I had with some food bank people. And one of the things that they found to be a problem is, sure, here's the food bank, and people are very generous, right? They give to it, they have programs, and they or buy or get donated literally tons of food.
Uh-huh.
But what they were getting back as a problem is a lot of the people who either got the food and did not have the ability to cook it or store it because they didn't have the right appliances or a stable home. And the other part was they physically couldn't cook like they could have maybe when they were a little younger. The arthritis, the use, or the family literally disconnected the gas, right, from the oven because there were too many incidences where mom left the burner on. And I hate to admit it, I did that the other night. But the point is, these problems, whereas Heart to Home is actually doing these pre-cooked, ready to go. You just have to heat them up. Correct? Am I right on that?
Yeah. I mean, there is no real prep that they have to do. Poke a few holes, follow the instructions as far as time goes, and in a handful or two of minutes, you're going to have food that's good. It's wholesome. It's not full of preservatives. That's why we take the the time and the expense to freeze our food. And we, there's a very special process that goes through, and this really does add to it. I mean, if if you can just imagine something being good in your fridge for a week, how much additives it would need. When you freeze it, you don't have to do all that. So, we're able to really gear these in and hone into what they need, special types of meals, special types of diets, all that kind of stuff. We cover all those areas. And again, bring them a choice, because
Right.
we don't pick it for you. The beauty of this is that the customer picks what they want. So
Yeah.
unlike other services that they may see out there where you get what you get and be happy to get it kind of thing.
Sure.
With this, and we've got 150, 160 different choices of all different kinds of food. I mean, you name it, we'll have something in some genre somewhere.
Right. So before we get into a lot of the delivery and picking it, I did want to talk about the actual food, because you made
Yeah,
reference to it. And this isn't, guys,
yeah,
this is not the frozen food that you're getting in the mass factories that produce this. I mean, I'm thinking of things like the pork meal and the chicken teriyaki. This stuff is good. I mean, this is really good. This is
yeah.
not the typical frozen food that you're getting from that aisle. And
No,
so let's talk about that a little bit, because who's preparing it. You mentioned the fact here, which I love, the no preservatives, right? As of late, I've been
yeah,
so conscious about the processed food. Being engaged now, the fiance is from Guatemala, who grew up on a mountain in a farm and
yeah,
came to America and cannot stomach the food that we eat normally, because coming
right,
from growing up where what you ate for dinner that night, you pulled out of the ground, or I'm sorry, you killed it that day. You went out and
sure,
got the chicken out of the yard, or went down the street and got the beef from the neighbor. Like, literally, that's what it was. And trying to eat Burger King or something can't even sit in the stomach. And this really made me start to look at preservative and the processed foods that we eat, Gary. And you're not getting that, because I mean, I took the frozen pizza. I knew we were going to talk, and I took it out of the oven to look at what it was, and I got the wrong frozen, right? Because there were things on there I couldn't pronounce. So I'm saying it should just be like dough, cheese, and sauce, right? Shouldn't that
right,
be the ingredients?
right.
So let's talk
Yeah,
about the food and the choices. And how do they do that? How do they decide? Will do you have the service of someone with little knowledge of that person's situation help them? Do they just go online and fill out a menu? How does that work? And how do you
yeah.
source
I
that
mean,
food?
really depending. I mean, some of our customers come to us and they're just, they come through insurance, and they come through the medical industry. Others just come themselves.
Yeah.
If we know that you're diabetic, for example, yeah, we do have low sodium and high fiber and heart friendly and all that kind of stuff that you can choose for options.
Gluten free.
So yeah, you're not really pigeonholed
Yeah.
into one particular. But yeah, our customer service reps, who are all right here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. When you pick up the phone and call us, you call us.
Yeah.
What happens is they can go over with you any ingredient that you want. They have a list of everything that's in it, and they can go over it with you. You can get it online. You can list ingredients and that kind of stuff. As far as making it, yeah, I mean, there are chefs that actually make sure that this is not going to taste like you say,
Mm.
the old thing that's been sitting in the freezer at the supermarket for 6 months. These are meals that I would eat, that I do eat. I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday was a busy day for lunch. I had some Yankee pot roast, and it was delicious. It was really, really good.
And so
And
easy
it is,
to
yeah,
do,
and it's
because it's
so
as long
easy.
as it took
Yeah,
to heat it up, you've got Yankee pot roast. I mean, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we look at. I mean, and there's all different portions. I mean, we have smaller portions. So some people they don't eat a lot. I know, my folks and stuff like that. My mother is in a nursing home, sadly, but she always yells at them and says, "Just bring me half a sandwich. I don't need a whole sandwich," because she'll never eat. So there are mini meals that are
Yeah.
even smaller, and then for people that like more, there's hearty meals, and so you can really play with that. You know how you want to do it. We don't have contracts. We don't have delivery fees. We don't have any of that stuff. I mean, we just, we want to be your friend. We want to be the people that bring you something that you can enjoy. You can eat it. it's healthy, and it's not going to hurt you, and you really can make a connection.
So let me ask you something, because you mentioned insurance in these situations. So if somebody right now, and we have a lot of people in our demographic areas, the 50 plus, a lot of listeners in there, and some of them might be listening to this and not realize they might actually have the ability to use your service and be covered by Medicaid, Medicare, or their insurance providers already in place.
Yeah. I mean, we have, it's an interesting thing, because when you get into this and you really start in the world of helping people, you find out that there's a lot of people, you partner with, like insurance companies, that really can help these folks also. So we do, Commonwealth Care Alliance, Massachusetts, for example, the senior care options, Fallon Health. We have, Pace Summit Elder Care. We deal with Harbor Health or Tufts, Mass Health, some Mass Advantage. There's a whole list of different, companies that we deal with. And you're right. There are people that have no idea that they actually have coverage.
Is that something they could call your office?
Yeah,
and tell them? All right. So why don't we roll the phone number?
And we have that was, phone number wise, we were going to use, I'm going to grab it because I have a number that they can use, a special number to be able to get.
Well, we're going to take a break in a second. So why don't we'll gather that, because
I thought I had it at my fingertips.
No, that's fine. I know.
But I will.
Were so nervous coming on with me that you just lost track of everything.
I was just, I've been enamored by the whole process. But no, I mean, we have a general line, but we wanted to set up a special line for the folks that they want to call. Listening here. And, it is. If they don't know, they can certainly ask. They can ask us. We can point them in the right direction. We can't get them approved, so to speak. That's something that they've got to kind of, go through their insurance company with. And then obviously we have an existing relationship. But there are, we deliver food to thousands of people in our general geographic area. And a huge amount of those do go through insurance. So yes, you're right. There are people listening or watching right now
that could get this part of their
probably don't
insurance
even realize
and have no idea
that they have no idea.
And it doesn't mean you don't have to be to the point that you can't operate your equipment or anything like that. You can be any age and find this to be convenient. But we're against the clock to take a break. Can you stick with us here for a second, Gary?
Of course I can.
All right. So we're going to do that, folks. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Don't forget, you can join the conversation at 508-871-7000. 2 and 2, folks.
All right. You got that number?
Yes.
Looking for a station that brings you all sides of the story? Tune in to 50,000 watt powerhouse WCRN, where the left and the right meet in the middle. Whether you lean left, lean right, or just want to stay informed, WCRN has you covered with diverse voices, lively debates, and thought-provoking discussions. From politics and health to pop culture, you'll hear it all right here. Radio Central, where opinions from both sides come together for the conversations that matter. From the center of the dial, the center of New England, and the center of information, AM 830, WCRN, Radio Central.
Tired of rush doctor's visits?
What's the phone number you want to use?
And when you finally
it's
do,
508
in and out?
500 6950.
All right. So when I come back, what I'll do is I'll ticker it like this.
Oh, cool.
All right. All right, let me get us back on.
Implications. Plus, by ordering labs on your own, you'll pay far below insurance prices. Looking for an alternative to conventional medicine? Phil George can help you navigate your health journey with a personalized approach. Just email Phil at philgeorge@charter.net for a free consultation. Your health and well-being are within reach, and it starts with the right guidance. Don't miss this opportunity to take control of your health. Reach out today and embark on a path to better health with Phil George.
WCRN Radio is thrilled to bring back a legendary voice, and now you can help tell the stories. Paul Harvey captivated millions with his unique style and unmistakable voice. By sponsoring the rest of the story, your brand can become a part of this rich tradition, and it links your business with a program that people love and trust. So don't miss this unique opportunity to grow your business while becoming part of something truly special. For sponsorship details, just go to WCRNradio.com.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the fourth and final segment on the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN Radio Central. Reminding folks, you can join the conversation for the time we have left together at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. Joining me in the virtual studio, Gary Rosenberg, who is from Heart to Home Meals. And even though your offices are in Marlboro, you have distribution centers and you're all over the place in Marlboro, sure. But Eastern Massachusetts, Middlesex, Norfolk, Essex, Plymouth, Bristol, Barnstable, Worcester counties, all covered. So pretty much most anybody in the footprint of WCRN can use this service. And I wanted to, again, roll, because you have a number. We're rolling it for those watching the stream. You can see that 508-500-6950. Correct?
Yeah. And,
all right.
I'll tell you, we were talking about insurance, and like I say, some people go through that way. Other people that don't have it, they want to have that. Let's make sure we have a few meals in the freezer in case something happens. I mean, look what just happened in our country. I mean, there were people that are very food vulnerable that were just all of a sudden at the whim of whatever. Now they don't have access to that food. Not a bad idea to have a few things in the freezer, regardless. We definitely will. I mean, the people want to call in. We can help guide you to the right information if there is an insurance ability. If you do want to test and try, we will absolutely do that. And we'll even give the first 10 people that call us and mention my name, Gary. We'll give you a $25 gift certificate towards whatever they might want to order, even if that's whatever. Doesn't matter. They don't have to spend a certain amount of money.
Okay, and let's talk about the price point on that, because the other thing is, yes, this is a great service for you if you're hearing this and thinking this, but maybe you have parents who aren't hearing this. Maybe this is time for you to make a couple phone calls and help out your mom and dad or one or the other this way. But also there are other people who may be somewhere near that age bracket, but we're still very active and working. And I got to tell you, I'm not thrilled about cooking at the end of the day, and my days don't usually end until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And the last thing I want to do is go cook in the kitchen because you have to clean, right? That's the thing you have to clean up. So there are a lot of people who might just find this as a nice convenience. How did they check this out? Just go to the website, which
they go to the website, they can call that number. They can absolutely call that number. That'll get you right here into Marlboro, and someone in Marlboro is going to actually take your call and help you through this entire little journey. And price points, I mean, that you alluded to, depending, I mean, with mini meals and stuff like that, some of them are as low as $6. And some of the other meals maybe go up $13, $14. Depending upon what it is that that you like. Obviously,
obviously, if you're going to get that hearty version with steak, is going to be a little different than the half portion with chicken.
Yeah,
common sense dictates this.
Exactly, but I mean, for the most part, very affordable, and a lot of people do just what you said. They keep some of these meals in the freezer for just in case, or when I need, or when I don't feel like, or whatever the case may be. It's always a good idea to have something in there. And then for others, it really does become a lifeline of, hey, I can stay at home. And you're right. I mean, people listening that, your parents are 80, 85 years old, and you're starting to say, geez, I don't know what's going to happen. And, they have very little choices in life. And we do give them a big choice. They can control what they get for food. And sometimes, that's just a huge, we can't comprehend what that's like right now in our lifestyle. But for them, it's a big deal. And then, of course, just the companionship. Our drivers are super, super nice people. We really are selective as to who we let on board, and they
Gary,
do
let's talk
become
about
friends.
that
I
for
mean,
a
I have
second.
drivers that, they'll tell, "Oh, I was taking down Mrs. So and so's trash," or
Right.
"This one cleaned out a kitty litter box," and this
Wow.
one, "Gee, there was still ice on the step. I'm going to be a little late tonight. I had to clear that ice off of there." I mean, do they provide those services through the company? No, but these are the people that we employ who are aces that really do care about the people. We will come right into your home. We will put the food into your freezer. We will rotate it around if there's other food there, and make sure that you're grabbing the fresh stuff. And we have some extras and some sides and some juice and some milk and some snacks and stuff like that you can get to.
So let's talk about that, because you do this by people's zip code, right? So your trucks go based on zones. Zip codes is the easiest way to do that, but you also try to make sure that the driver, and it sounds like the driver is a little bit more than just the guy who drives the truck, because
Absolutely.
they're building. So you keep that one driver is going to see the same customers all the time.
That's
So
the
they get
goal.
to
Yeah.
understand and probably get to know a little bit about their lives, because a lot of
Absolutely.
these people are going to be very welcome to engage in conversation.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
TV only talks one way, right?
Right. No, it's absolutely true. And we do once a week delivery. So you don't have to, start, you don't need 37 or 100 of these things. And when's what's going to happen to now we'll be back next week and the week after and the week after. And then with insurance customers, they don't even have to call. We can set up a menu for you and it'll just show up at your house. People that want to call in every week and change it and have that variety, more than welcome to. We have like I say, we have a whole bank of people that take the calls. You're not sitting on hold forever. If you leave us a message, we call you back. It's, we're a really professional setup that our care for people is what we do. That's just people is our passion.
Got it. Absolutely. Now, I know this probably never happens, but say there is a problem with a meal. Say, geez, this didn't taste that great. It wasn't even exactly what I ordered. How easy it is to let you guys know that, and how are you going to handle that?
Yeah, it's very easy. I mean, we do guarantee 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it, we'll replace it with something else. If it's just that you thought that wasn't, good and you want something different, or maybe the package was damaged or something like that, but you want the same thing, we'll bring it out to you. I mean, if you're in a situation where you're in trouble and you got the wrong meals and you can't eat them and now you have no food for the week, we're not going to have you wait. We're going to figure out a way to get out there.
Right.
If it's one meal or something like that you just want to swap out, we'll swap it out, for our next delivery. No problem.
Okay. And just what's the menu selection? How many, 80 items, 100 items? Like, what is, because some people don't want to eat the same thing over and over again. You have the same meals, even if it's 5 meals, but you eat those same 5 meals for 5 weeks in a row, you start to get like, I need to do something else. So how's the selection?
Selection is 160 meals, I believe: beef, chicken, turkey, pork, fish. And that's accessible. We have some soups. And then, of course, there are some of those little extras. And the extras switch around a little bit. Sometimes it's cookies or brownies and, that type of stuff.
All right. Let's, again, the phone number, direct phone number, you give Gary a call. And I don't know if Gary you'll answer, but you'll be there. 508-500-6950. That's 508-500-6950. You're going to get Marlboro, one of the people up there in Marlboro. You're going to tell them, hey, I heard Gary on WCRN. What can we do? Here's my insurance. Can we figure out if I can get some meals? Maybe you're just a professional who says, 4 or 5 meals a week in the freezer, and I don't have to drop a $1.20 to go out to eat. I can in the price point, right? So it sounds like you can eat probably for what you pay for the ingredients, and then you take the time. The 45 minutes to cook it is worth a couple bucks to me, Gary.
Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely it is. And, portion size, the regular size, for most people in that, most senior citizens, it's then that's where it's kind of designed at, is to fill them up. People like this. I don't have 160 different, of the larger meals, but there's a good enough selection within those, fish and poultry and beef and that kind of stuff. And then they do, like anywhere in any food business, sometimes things come in, new things, other things go out. So we have color catalogs that are beautiful. You can request one. We'll send one right to your house, and we'll follow up
order
with
by
a phone
picture.
call.
That's always fun at a restaurant.
Yeah, right. Right. You can check it out. You can go online as well. I mean,
yeah. What's the website people will check out so you can go click?
We have a great. You can really see.
Just so people know, it's Heart to Home Meals, and the meals is the plural one. It's Heart to Home Meals, and you'll get the website. It tells it, but also just call. Gary set up this number for you, 508-500-6950. Give him a call. In the break we heard the Paul Harvey feature. You're going to be bringing a couple of those a week to people, so thank you for that.
Yes, we will.
Sponsoring it. You and I think old enough to remember the rest of the story.
So cool. When you said you had that, we were like, we have to get involved with that.
Yeah.
There's no way we're not going to get involved with that. And we definitely want to introduce ourselves to your listeners in a variety of ways. So we're going to be around. We're not going anywhere. We grow in business every week, which is just a testament to the service and the food. Every single week, we just grow and grow and grow. In the year that I've been here, it's probably close to doubled in size. So,
that's amazing. So again, when people call up at the 508-500-6950, folks, and mention that they heard Gary here, you're going to give them some credit. You're going to give them some deals. You're going to get them really involved.
Yep, absolutely. We will. Anything we can do.
All right. That's awesome. I want to thank you for joining us, Gary. This was great for you to take the time out, jump in from your beautiful offices in Marlboro. And who did the artwork?
Yes, that was our good friend Marjorie. We'll give her a shout out. She did a great job, because if I wrote that, you wouldn't know what it said.
It looks good. Again, folks. All right. 508-500-6950, 508-500-6950. Give them a call. And Gary will be happy to take care of you. Thank you, Gary, so much. I appreciate it tremendously.
All right.
All right. So, folks. So we have to start wrapping up today's edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. And I thank you for joining us today. And don't forget to follow me at Joe Mangi Show, MANGI, Joe Mangi Show, JoeMangiShow.com. And of course, the show is turned into a podcast, and you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. So that could be Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, TuneIn app. They're all there. Check it out. Back tomorrow afternoon, same bat time, same bat channel, 1 o'clock. And Friday, of course, the Carboys come your way. Joe out.